You missed whatever you had scheduled for the rest of the night. This is tomorrow, 10 minutes play by Judith Black. Margaret is a 45 to 55-year-old company executive for a Fortune 500. Bill is a 45 to 55 underemployed academic. Cassandra is a 20 to 24-year-old passionate activist daughter. There's a coat stand next to a door with hats and shawl and a woman's and man's coat hanging from it. Bill and Margaret are setting the table. They are walking in 6 inches of water and thus must step high and hard with every move. Bill drops a fork and has to shake off the water and then dries it. Margaret is impatient with his clumsiness. He laughs nervously at this mishap. It is very hot, and they often wipe their brows or simply stop to catch their breath.
This is absurd. Can't we make the house any cooler? It's cooler at work.
I fear that the national standards do not allow us to energy cool a private residence further than we have engaged in.
Bill, you're such a scientist, even when it comes to the thermostat.
I doubt that you can legitimately even refer to me as a scientist anymore.
Oh, don't be silly. With or without that thankless university, you're still a scientist. Now, what did my scientist make for our little dinner party tonight?
Ah, yes, an innovation. The cricket fritters are crisping in the sunroom. It has reached a temperature during the daytime where the reflected heat from the glass produces enough UV to actually cook and crisp them.
Oh, I love the way you've adjusted to the new cuisine.
They both shake as a loud sound is heard. Margaret looks fearfully to Bill.
It's just another ice sheet breaking off where it will be stable within a few seconds.
Vegetables?
I was able to obtain some lovely root specimens infrared light enhanced by the sunroof glass.
She applauds happily.
Oh, the sunroof is the new kitchen. Oh, Bill, you truly are a modern man.
If I was, I'd still be lecturing to halls of bright-eyed scholars instead of a dinosaur now doing housekeeping.
No, you are a new man, embracing the new today and doing it with panache.
They both become alert to someone at the door, banging, then just pushing it open. In sloshes Cassandra. She's wearing a dirty bandana, mud cake jacket, and backpack, and is out of breath.
Cassie, darling, what are you doing home? Dear God, look at you.
Mom,
Is it-
Dad, I need your help big time.
You in some kind of trouble, Cassandra?
Kicking at the water.
Dad, we're all in trouble.
You know what I mean, honey. Personal trouble.
The personal is the political, and the political is the environmental, and the... I'm gonna
Margaret.
Margaret.
Yeah, that's Margaret.
Margaret.
You, wasn't there a stage director?
Page
That's
three?
what I was waiting.
No.
Oh,
Reverse side.
The personal is the political,
Okay,
and
sorry.
the
Is that all right?
environmental,
Page
and...
3.
okay. Cassandra, cut the polemics. You're supposed to be a work-study placement in the People's Republic of Vermont. Now, the place I would have chosen for a vulnerable young mind, but never mind. Explain yourself.
Checking outside through a window.
I need refuge.
Please begin at the origin of the tale. What has happened and why do you require refuge?
She starts to sort through items on a coat rack.
The police are after me.
What?
She has found a silk scarf and wraps it around her head like a Muslim's headdress.
I did nothing wrong. I only did what you two taught me to do. The right thing. Does this change my looks?
Bill and Margaret meet eyes. Margaret whips away the scarf and sits Cassandra in a chair.
Margaret, be gentle. You can see she's in a heightened state. Okay, let's begin again from the beginning. Firstly, is anyone injured? Are you hurt?
Bill, slightly more pressing is the fact that the authorities are after her.
Margaret goes to the window and looks up and down the street.
You mean the pig lackeys of the ruling class, don't you, Mother?
Oh, so easy to rebel. So difficult to create a viable alternative. Young lady, ground yourself in here and now, and use civil language as you explain what you've done this time. And Bill, do not let her back out of this.
She starts to push a large piece of furniture against the door.
I am only advocating for a better tomorrow. Once you've exhausted all legal and civil approaches to change, and after 40 years of this fossil fuel.
Hold on, time out, let's back that up, because that's Cassandra's line. It says Cassandra at the bottom of the page, but
Yeah,
it
there's no
doesn't continue
punctuation.
until the
I'm
next.
sorry.
So Cassandra starts to push a large piece of furniture against the door. Cassandra,
I'm only advocating for a better tomorrow. Once you have exhausted all the legal and the civil approaches to change, and after 40 years of this fossil fuel empire still expanding, then civil disobedience is called for.
No, within the realm of the law. We're working to create change, and some of us are challenged, energized, and productive.
Cassandra walking back towards the door.
Please, Mom, that's the motto of your company, not anything real. Don't you have a serious security lock for this thing?
Sandra, crisis or not, honey, were you part of an act of violence? Was anyone injured?
No, I was really careful about that. All direct actions by the tree people respect life, all living things.
She goes into her backpack and pulls out a camouflage jumpsuit.
The tree people? Please, do not tell me you're involved with one of those eco-anarchist groups.
She's putting on a jumpsuit. Cassandra.
You can't have our oaks and pines, we're not building new pipelines. Then we blend in with the woods.
Voila! I think, right?
I would think that's what that is. Voila.
Voila.
Oh dear God. Bill, she listens to you. Talk some sense into her. Those crazy extremists have cost my company millions. Cassie, is this some kind of post-adolescence hostility or rebellion? And exactly why are the police after you? Did they follow you here?
All three now look out the window simultaneously.
Cassie, honey, just tell us please what you did from the beginning till the end.
Bill goes and gets a notebook and pen.
Bill, there's no time for that. Our child is a wanted criminal. The police are coming for her. We have to decide what to do.
Margaret, how we respond must be based on specific data for the situation. Cassie?
You're going to take notes?
No, I think it's best.
Margaret throws her arms up in frustration and begins pulling down the blinds.
Okay. I put a small explosive in an upstate gas pipeline just north of a compression station, so the pressure would be at its minimum frictional thrust, and its placement would allow for the immediate inundation of tons of mud and could be subjected to gratuitous detoxification by Menthropos slopes.
Dear God, we paid for Stanford University so she could do this? Take off that ridiculous outfit. At least the neighbors will be able to see.
Clearly she learned and retained a great deal. You know, if I had a jumpsuit like that, doing field work, the insects might not have been so phobic of me. And I could have understood their plight.
Oh, Bill, quit humoring her.
Cassandra is taking off her jumpsuit and offering it to Father as she speaks.
Oh, Daddy, you have to stop blaming yourself. Most people can't face what's happening, the fact that we caused it.
There's a diversity of opinion on that.
Right, why Monsanto's paid scientists.
But a scientist's stock and trade should be clear observation, not denial.
He receives the jumpsuit with thanks.
Bill, I absolutely refuse to allow you to blame yourself. Your work was always stellar. It was those radicals who dominated the department that got you fired.
Cassie, you'll simply have to simplify the explosion explanation for your old man. I was only a humble entomologist. I understood gratuitous detoxification, but what are the methanotrophs? I'm familiar with that.
Bill, she has just perpetrated an act of major destruction against my company, the nation, maybe the world. Can we stop with 3 questions game?
She grabs the jumpsuit from his hands and stuffs it under the couch cushions.
Exhibit item 1.
Margaret, I still would like to fully comprehend what it was.
Margaret shakes her head in frustration.
Monathrotropes, Dad. They play a major role in the reduction of the release of the methane into the atmosphere from environments such as rice paddies, landfills.
Bill takes notes. Margaret sees how untidy the jumpsuit looks under the cushions, takes it out and begins folding it into the smallest mass possible and shoving it into her purse, which she has taken from the coat rack.
Bill, our child has blown up a gas pipeline.
Stage direction.
Where?
No,
Page 7.
Combat crawls over to her.
page 7.
Wrong page. Okay. Huh, they'll never figure it's anyone
Wait,
other.
Page 7.
Page 7. Oh, that's 9. Well, I don't have a 7. I'm sorry.
Well, then, we'll go on with it. Yeah.
Bogs and swamps where methane production is relatively high. So I calculated that I could neutralize the methane if I
Have you lost your mind? This is a felony. It will destroy your life. It will destroy my life if the word gets out.
They all feel another rumble from the earth. Margaret looks towards Bill.
Oh no, not another ice sheet. That's a mini quake from fracking.
Margaret nods in happy recognition.
Our daughter is a terrorist.
Cassandra exits while talking into the kitchen and returns with a carrot and energy bar, which she is eating hungrily.
No, the real terrorists are companies like yours that continue to drill and frack and distribute a gas that is 80 times more potent of a greenhouse gas than CO2.
She offers some of the bar to her mother, who rejects it. Bill is still taking notes.
Let me remind you that company paid for your 4-star education, our mortgage, and every other benefit in our lives. Also, my little revolutionary, we would never deign to instruct people on how to heat their homes, power their appliances, and drive their cars. We believe in the American value of free choice.
A police siren can be heard getting closer. Bill and Margaret freeze as Cassandra leaps behind the couch. They all freeze when the siren is closest and then hear it moving away. She speaks from behind the couch.
This is too big an issue to be determined at the tailpipe. It must be corrected at the wellhead.
That would stymie free trade and individual choice. Consumer education is the obvious answer. If you want to do something useful, teach people what the environmentally better choice is.
Cassandra, combat crawls over to her backpack and starts to sort through it.
Wait, you think that mining and distributing a product that we know destroys the Earth's climate and livability should be your free choice to do? Can you hear yourself?
Pulls out a fake nose attached to eyeglasses and puts them on. Checks herself in the mirror.
Young lady.
And we digress yet again. Political debate might not be the most politic thing to do at the moment.
How will they know that it is you who did this horrendous thing?
They will know it is me who did this courageous thing, I guess, because your home of the free, land of the brave, has installed cameras everywhere. I tried to wear a mask but couldn't get a good sight on the detonator with it on. But who would recognize me now?
She adds her father's old-fashioned hat from the coat rack to her ensemble.
You are an inefficient terrorist who's done no good at all except cut off people's energy. You will not be popular with your masses. I have some black dye upstairs.
Everyone wants an alternative to your stupid gas. I bet they're cheering me, and I am not putting dye chemicals into my hair.
There are many known toxins in hair dye.
God, you always take her side.
Only when her argument holds the greatest logic or facts.
Cassandra takes her mother's furry coat from the rack and puts it over her back. Hops down to all fours and starts barking.
They'll never figure it's anyone other than the family dog. Good use for your dead animal skin, Mother.
You take that off this second. My God, all the money that went into your education.
Excuse me, I would like to interject here prior to the police arriving. Our daughter, our highly educated, moral, and thoughtful daughter, has done something that she felt essential for the preservation of our planet.
Bill swats at a mosquito on his arm. Margaret runs to get exterminating bug spray and starts spraying it. Cassandra jumps on her and wrestles the can from her hands.
Those things carry hideous diseases.
They are pulling and pushing for dominance of the spray can.
Because they are breeding nonstop from all the freaking moisture and heat you've created. And your stupid carcinogenic spray just makes the survivors more virile.
That is ridiculous. I'm just trying to protect us.
Margaret, that is how you see it.
A car drives down the street, and Cassandra throws herself behind the coat rack and lifts her arms like they are hooks on.
No, that's how it is. Now she is throwing herself on our mercy to protect her from herself, and the legal system will rain down its justice at any minute.
Margie, can't you see that she doesn't believe that legal system has her best interests forefront of its law or functioning?
He shows her the two lists he has created in his notebook. She pushes it away angrily.
Not just me, Daddy. It doesn't care about you or Mom or the safety of the food we eat or the protection of the planet we live on or any of
That's just about enough. This government has protected me just fine, and in a few short minutes, it'll haul away another threat.
We have a quandary. Do we obey the letter of the law or the spirit of justice? I allowed what I love to slip out of my life because I refused to acknowledge what was right in front of me.
Oh, Jesus, Bill, you couldn't do anything about the insect die-off. It was beyond your control. You're no longer an academic. Must we ponder polemics when action is what's called for? Our child has made a regrettable criminal decision.
I don't regret it for a minute.
Oh, dear God, I wish your frontal lobe would just harden off already and you acted like a grown-up.
Margie, maybe she's right.
Bill, what has gotten into you? You've always been too easy on her, but never...
Bill, as he speaks, Cassandra comes out from behind the coat rack.
I'm an entomologist from the Midwest. You're polite. Volcanic eruptions doubled in output within 50,000 years of huge asteroid or comet impact. Inside that same 50,000 years, the dinosaurs became extinct. You see, Margie, that was conditions beyond their control. And that's how I was treating all of this.
And that is correct. There are simply too many variables at play.
A siren is heard yet again, but this one is slowing as it gets closer to the home.
Well, here they are, the protectors of order, and maybe our little progeny needs what they are doling out.
Margaret starts for the door, but falls over Cassandra's muddy backpack and whacks her head on the standing coat rack. She is out cold. Cassandra and Bill look at one another. What to do? Walking over to his wife,
Cassie, we must act with all due haste. Help me get her up before she asphyxiates from the sludge.
they get her into a chair. Bill takes Cassandra's muddy bandana off her and ties it on his wife. The siren is loud and outside their door.
Take off your coat.
He drapes the coat over Margaret's shoulders and then, after a quick thought, takes the fake nose and glasses and puts them on his wife as well.
Quickly, leave your backpack next to Mom and out the door.
Another shake of the earth leaves them a little off balance.
Mountaintop removal.
They nod sadly towards each other.
Okay, baby, let us evacuate the premises and discharge some more explosives at vulnerable locations along gas pipelines.
Oh, Daddy, I can't wait for you to meet the other tree people. I love you.
He kisses her cheek. A knock is heard at the door. Cassandra pulls two fresh ones from her backpack. They put them on, and as they exit, he notices Margaret's purse with the overalls, and sets it in Margaret's lap. Father and daughter bump fists and exit.
Can we stage the curtain call?
Okay, so let's tell Judith what we think of her future, dystopian future.
I like your father.
You like the father? Yeah, the most reasonable one.
The thing about him, do you feel, I mean, I know she's trying to make him Tony Randall, you know, kind of above it all academic, but the diction, the choice of words, doesn't sound like a guy trying to be, you know, highly, do you know what am I said? Yeah.
I think it's, the dialogue is a little bit too staged, if that makes it sense.
Too
Staged, it's like it making to, it's just too, like, it's right in front of you.
Yes.
Like, this is, I am this and I am that. I'm not finding the connections that would be more, lack of a better term, discussion oriented. You know, it's like, I'm saying this, and I'm saying this because I'm this professor, and I'm saying this because I'm this person who sees it as more progressive in seeing what the problem is, and I'm seeing this as somebody who's a person who's worked for the company. But I feel like it's three silos saying something but not really connecting in conversation.
It's hard to read too.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only thing I was kind of noticing, that it wasn't really like in a flow. Now, it could be that, you know, when you start playing with it and dialogue-wise, it could start making it work. But it just feels like everybody has a message to say, but it wasn't like connecting to me as well as it could. Doesn't mean it can't, but it just, that was my first impression.
I started to realize I was fancying science fiction, satire, but it was hard for me to discover the exposition of it, that this was the end of the world kind of scenario here.
And part of the time I felt like I was being lectured, you know, on,
Yeah.
you know, all the things we're doing wrong with our planet. And part of the time, I felt like she was being funny. Because it was so, you know,
Outrageous.
well, yeah, I mean, they're walking around in water.
Right.
Yeah.
But, you know, I mean, that's part of the
I
scariness
know,
of it.
but
Ice flows, you know, falling, you know, ice sheets
I
falling, I don't know
understand
where
that,
they
but
live, but.
part of it was
Yeah,
almost like she was being funny. Like taking what people are worried about to extreme.
Yeah, well, in satire,
Yeah.
I thought that's all it was.
That's what satire is.
How do you have a husband and wife who are polar opposites? I mean, it makes for
Come on.
it makes for an interesting point, but I had a lot of trouble believing that this was a family unit because it just wouldn't make any sense.
That the daughter came out of that family unit.
No,
You know,
it makes
this is what
sense
you're
because she's
talking
taking
about.
after the father and she's acting to in favor of the environment, which the mother in her company, the company, has been responsible for ruining or has contributed to ruining. It just doesn't, you know, the idea is great, but I don't associate the mother as part of this family. It just
Well,
would
yeah,
be
like
not
that
believable.
the husband and wife had never ever actually, you know, kind of talked about this before.
Yeah, but this
You
is.
know, about
You know, they're on polar, different polar
Yeah,
ends.
but life has changed so much. And I mean, really, it's not that many, I know I'm old, but I don't think I'm that old. Life has changed, people's attitude about things. Mother represented a path that was considered quite respectable not that long ago. And there are still people walking around today who say climate change is hooey.
No question about that, but that the husband who was rational and how come they haven't had an argument before about this, or have they? You know, we don't know
We
anything
don't
about
know.
it.
Yeah, we don't know.
And
She's,
there's nothing that says what year this takes place.
yeah,
This is
and
year
it's
20
covering,
This is year 2100, you
yeah,
know.
they're
would be
covering
good
a
to
lot of
know.
material.
Could be the year 2022,
Let's hope not.
but it could be.
But it could be, it could be.
I'm having enough trouble getting around to things. Let's not give us 6 inches.
Oh, I just
of
read a
water.
statistic today, you've got a 1 in 14,000 chance of, in the next year being killed by an asteroid hitting the Earth, or, you know, some other very major, apocalyptic thing happening.
1 in 14.
1 in 14,000, that's not too
good
many.
odds. That's
No,
not good.
no, that's what the scientists have
That's
come up
pretty
with.
scary,
Still a
actually.
better shot than winning the lottery.
Absolutely. Oh, I take it. Okay. Turn in your scripts, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, thank you.
Is the playwright local,
Judith?
Joanna?
No, Judith is from Massachusetts.
This is like a Woody Allen skit, this is not supposed to
Oh,
be
Woody.
believable.
Yeah, it's kind of, yeah. Like, Sleeper,
Yeah. Well, then,
right?
she used the same thing,
Thank you.
the glasses with the nose thing.